Hi everybody, Logan Phillips. This is a continuation of the Simnet walkthrough and the best practices that I use in my class. So far we have used our master courses. We have created a master course in both Blackboard and Simnet. We have set dates and times inside Simnet. We have created a single sign-on for Simnet to Blackboard or Blackboard to Simnet, depending on how you're going. And we've looked at integrity violations and what that means inside the Simnet gradebook. So it makes perfect sense. The next step, we're going to look at our gradebook itself. So I'm going to open up Simnet, and I'm still working in the 18152 course. This is the first course I'm creating for the fall 2016 semester, or fall 2017-10 semester. And it's a 16-week Excel, or 16-week concepts course. Sorry, I got so many courses in my mind, I'm tripping up here. Inside the gradebook is pretty straightforward. It's going to give you your points. It's going to show the students. It's going to show the student IDs. Now notice that I don't have any enrolled right now, so it's not a big deal. I can show everything. We also have these column filters. We can go through calculated, custom, lessons, projects. You can add your own work in here. One of the things that's important to know here is the calculated. The calculated will only show you the calculations it does in all view, which is sort of irritating, but that's how it works. So you can see the breakdown of each of your pieces, or we can create our own. And so what we're going to do for this class is we're going to create our own gradebook columns. Now I know from my pacing schedule exactly how many points I'm supposed to have in the class. And again, that was up here. Now inside the Simnet environment, I'm actually going to have 1,351 points because I've made an instructional video there that's worth exactly 1 point. That's not listed inside Blackboard. It's not in here. That's just, it will pop up the first day. They'll either watch it or they're not. And 1 point seems like a fair amount. So we actually have 1,351 points. So we're going to try to create a calculated column that has exactly the right amount of points for the class. All right, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up here to configure. And we're going to modify and we're going to create ourselves a new column. And now this column we're going to do is going to be a calculated column, and I do what is called my final grade column. And my final grade column is what the student would receive if they stopped working right now and took a 0 on everything else. This is the grade that they will get on their transcript at the final semester. So I'm going to create a new column, and I'm going to name this final grade. Now, there's two types of columns you can do, a custom column or a calculated column. The custom column I use for things like bonus points, or I use for assignments that I do in class, or assignments that I have on Blackboard, or anything excess that I'm not making them do through Simnet. I can actually give points and keep my gradebook in Simnet by using the custom. But I want to add up everything that they do, so for this one I'm going to create a calculated column. I want a sum column. Now with the final grade calculation column, this is going to be a points, it's going to be a maximum, it's going to show in the grid because I want the students to see it, and I'm going to have a certain number of points that the students are earning. Now I'm not going to hide this grade until after the first day. They'll be able to see this grade as soon as the class opens up. Now to do the calculations on these, you need to come through and go into the calculation. Now this is somewhat of a slow process. This is still built in Flash. It's not the greatest. The gradebook is being updated from my understanding, but it is a slow click through. So what I do is I open up my pacing schedule and I know the pieces and when they're due. And so I will follow along this pacing schedule, adding in each of these to make sure I have everything. So we go through and I'm going to do a few of these and then I'm going to pause the video. I'll do the rest because I'm not going to make you click through all the assignments like I'm doing. So if we open it up, we see every single assignment that is inside the Simnet environment. So one of the very first things I make them do is the Simnet Blackboard walkthrough. That's that video that's worth 1 point. So I'm going to add that to the grade. And we just keep going through this and adding in every single individual piece that we're wanting. So we got file management. We got the words chapters 1, 2, 3. And you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just clicking and then clicking add. That puts it inside the calculation column and lets me go through. Now I'm going to pause the video because I don't think you guys want to watch 10 minutes of me clicking add on each of these individual pieces. But as soon as I come back, you'll be able to see what happens in the next step. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be doing on my gradebook is adding in my sim books. Now, if you're doing your calculations and adding these in, when you come down to the drop-down menu, you're going to see the sim books, pre-test, lesson, and post-test. Now it's up to you to remember that The pretest will actually show in points on the post-test. So if you put both the pretest and the post-test, you will have an issue or an error in your gradebook where you'll be counting way too many points. So only select the post-test for your sim paths, because whatever score they get on the pretest will be added to the post-test, and the lesson you don't grade. This is the only thing you're grading on the sim paths is the post-test if you're following my methods. So I'm going to click on the post-test. I'm going to work my way through here. And again, I'm going to pause for 1 second. Okay, so with the back and forth, I just realized that I, in my lesson plan or my pacing schedule, had counted in some things that weren't on Simnet, including 2 points for lectures and those kind of things. So 1295 is the point that I'm supposed to have. 1296 is the points I have, and that's counting in the 1 point for that video. All right, once I've done that, I can just hit apply, which I've done, and hit close. And now I have created a final grade column that the students will see that will be their current grade as it stands right now. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a couple of new columns just so I can put in my own information into it. Sort of like the introduction that they have to do on my Blackboard website, whether to go to discussion boards. I want to have a gradebook column for that. And I want to create a gradebook column that I give them 5 points just for logging into Simnet within that first week. It's part of my first week requirements. So to do that, I'm going to go up here to columns. I'm going to create a column. And instead of creating a calculated column, I'm going to create a custom one. And I'm going to say that this one is the Simnet login. The max points allowed on this is 5 points. And hit create. Now I'm going to do this for a couple. I'm going to create the Simnet login, the Blackboard introduction, and again that's worth 5 points, and one last one for this syllabus quiz. And I'm going to modify this to say BB syllabus quiz, and that one's worth 10 points. All right. Now, because I've created these extra columns, I need to add them to my final grade as well. So I'm going to hit close, and I'm going to come down here to the far right side to this final grade column. I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to add some calculation in here as well. And I'm just going to add those new columns I just created. Let's see if I can't find them quickly. We got BB syllabus quiz. We have Blackboard introduction and Simnet login. Hit apply. And now my new columns, or my new value for my final grade, should be... Oh, that's Simnet login. Sorry, wrong column. Here we go, final grade. And that's going to be 1316. And the last piece, I'm going to create one more column for my lectures. And we're going to create a new, and we're going to call this lectures points. And there's 30 points for showing up in my class and just being involved. And we're going to hit apply and close. Now let's modify that final grade one more time just to add that in for points as well. Hit apply. Now, one thing that happens is when this automatically pops up, you'll go to general, you look for your points, and your points will not have changed. To see the modified points, you need to close out this and reopen the column to see the correct amount of points. All right, guys, that is how to create gradebooks, how to create that final grade. One last piece I'll show you. If you want to create a current grade column, I'm not going to do that right now, but the only thing you have to modify from creating this final grade is to click the Use Rolling Grade. As long as you set your deadlines and your dates, the Use Rolling Grade will show what their current grade is at that moment of time instead of what their final grade is at the very end of the semester. So the only difference between final grade and current grade is the Use Rolling Grade radio button. All right.